Are you an introvert? Would you like some strategies for the workplace that are specific to introverts? Then stick around and stay till the end because the last one is a biggie. I'm Jen Swanson and this video was a viewer request. So let's jump in. The first strategy is to figure out what kind of introvert you are. There is a difference between being an introvert and being someone who has anxiety. There is a difference between being an introvert and being shy. And you might have anxiety and you might be very shy, but that is not exclusive to introverts. So it's good to figure out if you can separate those out so that they can be addressed separately. There are lots of introverts, for example, who are confident. There are lots of introverts who are not shy. They just prefer to think first and speak when there's something worthwhile saying. Introverts, and you know if you are one watching this, get their energy from spending time alone. They need time to refuel and to recuperate, and do not get energy from crowds of people or being with lots of strangers. That sucks the energy right out of them. Disclaimer, I am an extrovert. The second strategy might sound a little strange, but it's to smile. And you might not feel like smiling, but you can practice this. Smiling intentionally can make you seem more approachable and less closed down and more friendly. And it's not that introverts are not friendly, but sometimes if you like to be inside your head and you're thinking and you're working and you're doing your thing, not smiling can make the perception of you seem to be that you're unapproachable or that you're not super friendly. So it might not feel great, but you can do it. You can smile more often. Just try it. Nobody is going to know that you're doing this little experiment on unsuspecting subjects. And try smiling a little bit more to see what happens, because it makes you stand out in a good way and seem more approachable and friendly. Risk a little, and no, it's not always easy, but we don't grow unless we risk. So it's an important thing is to take a tiny step outside of that comfort zone that you keep yourself so protected in. And we all do this. We all need to step a little bit outside that comfort zone, risk a little bit in order to grow and to move into the direction that we want to move into. You can do this. The third thing is to learn and practice communication skills, soft skills, exceedingly important in the workplace. There are amazing and talented introverts who are master communicators. And I know because I live with one. So it's possible, but it takes practice, and communication is not something that you can check a box and say, I'm an excellent communicator forever and all times. It is a practice and it is ongoing. Even people who are masterful at communication mess up from time to time. So it is always something that every single one of us can spend time working on so that we are better at it and we stand out more in the workplace. The stereotype might be that introverts prefer to spend time at their desks alone with their head down, their earbuds in, and don't want anybody to bother them. But that's not actually true. There are lots and lots and lots of introverts that you would never ever know were actual introverts. And while that is sometimes maybe true that that's what you'd like to be doing as an introvert, learning to effectively express yourself, to communicate well and freely and openly can most certainly be done. You can brush up on your public speaking skills by offering to speak at a presentation, by taking a class on public speaking skills, by joining Toastmasters. And they might be doing that virtually now during the pandemic, I don't know, but Toastmasters has been around for ever, and it is a very effective way for people who are afraid to speak in public to practice in a safe and supportive environment. There are classes that you can take. There are ways that you can practice these skills. Again, no one needs to know that you're practicing them, but becoming better at listening, at effective listening, can also be an excellent way to improve your communication skills and stand out at work, because not everybody is a good listener, and extroverts are often not good listeners. I actually found out the other day that one of the most gregarious people that I know, who happens to be a leader of an organization and is always up front doing things, volunteering on stage in front of people, speaking, I found out that he is an introvert, and I was shocked. I had no idea. So it is quite possible for people who are introverted to not appear to be so, and to stand out and be amazing leaders and excellent communicators and public speakers. Now, if you suffer from shyness or have overwhelming anxiety when you are with other people, then those things can be addressed separately. And I have a video on confidence that you can take a look at. I'll link it up here in the little card that goes by. But, and I have a podcast that I did quite some time ago that I can also link to, with a medical doctor who calls himself the Anxiety MD. It's an audio podcast from a few years ago, and he is local to British Columbia, and he's on Instagram and has websites and all sorts of things, and he's written a book, and he is one of the leading experts on how to deal with anxiety. So I am not an expert in that, but I recommend the Anxiety MD, and again, I'll link to it above, and I'll link to it in the description box. Number 4 is to figure out how much you can handle and set some healthy boundaries for yourself around that. So where is your limit? When do you feel like you're just overwhelmed because you're in space with people, or you're in a meeting with too many people, and what can you do to help yourself with that? What level of stress and action and people can you handle? Because only you will know that. You need to be aware enough to know when you've reached your limit. Is it too noisy where you are? Is there a way that you can stop the interruptions and the things that are coming at you so that you can focus and do your work? Are there things you can do and take control of to stop that? Can you check your email once every 2 hours instead of having the notifications come in constantly? Is there a way that you can ask people to leave you to your work for an hour straight so that you can get something done? How can you limit your on time so that you don't feel that drain of energy? In order to stand out at work, you need to manage your energy. And if you are one of these people who can hide the fact that that kind of thing drains you, then you can only hide it for so long. So what is the span of time that works for you, but after which you start to wither? A therapist that I know made a suggestion when I asked about this topic when I was doing my research for this video. And one of the things that she mentioned was to set yourself up for success. And an example she gave was someone needed to do a piece of a report, and rather than sitting in a room full of a whole bunch of people trying to wordsmith and trying to get these parts put together as a whole group of people, this person asked if she could do this, excused herself, wrote her little blurb that she needed to write, and then gave it back to the rest of the group so they could pick it apart and finish the wordsmithing. And that took courage to do that. But that is a very good solution. If there's a way that you can take a piece, go off and do it yourself, bring it back and present it to the rest of the group, that might be a far more effective way for you to do something than to try and sit in a collaborative conversation that is too challenging for you and for your energy levels. If you would like more videos like this one, hit that like button and consider subscribing. And let's get into the very last tip for introverts on how to stand out in the workplace. So this is the biggest tip. This is number 5. Make it about the other person. This is the best way to engage with people and yet not have to do all of the talking. Ask them about themselves. People love to talk about themselves, especially extroverts. So ask the other person about what's going on for them, and you will be, and then listen effectively, and you will be the most amazing person, because guess what? We don't listen very well anymore. People aren't listening to each other. It's a gift to listen to someone else and to give them your undivided attention and your time. So if you can do that for someone else, people are going to love you and you will stand out. So ask people and remember details so that the next time you see them, you can say, how's that puppy doing? Are you getting the potty training happening with your, is that what you call it with a puppy? I can't remember. It's been so long since I had a puppy. Paper training, outside training with your puppy. If you can remember the details, they're going to think, wow, that conversation was important. That person really cared what I said and really listened and remembered. I mean, that's special, right? That's relationship building. So you can do that quite easily and not have to do all of the on talking. Don't like those water cooler conversations? Again, insert yourself. It won't feel comfortable, but get into those conversations just by being there. And again, you can do it for a short amount of time and then zip away again, but you won't be the person who never joins in, who's sitting in the back office and doesn't engage. You can make yourself engage, play the game, but do it within a limited amount of time that suits you so that you're not draining your energy too much, and then go back and do what you need to do. Lots and lots of excellent managers and leaders happen to be introverts. They've just figured it out. They've figured out how to walk the talk, how to play the game, how to engage, but also how to protect themselves. So it involves self-awareness. It involves healthy boundary setting. It involves some knowing what you can handle and what you can't handle, knowing what kind of introvert you are, and knowing when your energy level is going to drop. So having some plans in place, some strategies in place. There are lots and lots of ways that you can strategize to still be an incredible and effective employee, and in fact, to stand out. If you have any questions for me, if you have any other suggestions about this topic, please write them in the description box below. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about success mindset that anyone can have. So take a look at that one, and I'll see you over there.